So, y'all, we back in here with another Just Ask Rob. Got the email pulled up right here. This email is a lengthy email, but I'm going to read the entire email because I think it's an important conversation to have, period. This email it's an important conversation to have, and people may have this question. White people in particular may have this question. But I'm going to read out this whole thing, and we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about this shit. Subject line reads, how can white racists make positive changes? Says, Dear Robert, first off, I'd like to give you mad props for what you're doing for your people. That may not mean much coming from a white racist motherfucker. This is what he says about himself. I didn't do it. 45-year-old male, yet I just wanted to let you know that I have a great deal of respect for you and what you're doing, putting yourself out there and spreading knowledge to the masses. Respect. You see it. You see what's going on and what has to be done. And I'm here to do it. So respect on that. I'll continue. Says, a few weeks ago, I discovered that I have been delusional for many years. Both for believing that this shit wasn't happening anymore and for thinking that I wasn't racist in any way. Your videos have been monumental for me because they allow me to hear what's real instead of what's been going on in my fucked up mind. A combination of your videos and research that I've done has raised my awareness tenfold to what's really going down, not only within myself, but in the other white racist motherfuckers. He continues to say that. Today I witnessed someone yelling, fuck you, while honking their horn. Then they added a little extra, fuck you nigger, showing their true colors. I wonder how many of us have that shit in us and don't even know it. Upon becoming aware of my racism and others, I've had feelings of anger, disgust, embarrassment, disbelief, and sadness, just to name a few. The more knowledge I gain, the more it infuriates me, while enabling me to be more empathetic towards your race and the travesties poured down upon them because of their skin pigmentation. I know I can never walk that walk, yet I like a better understanding of what it means to be a person of color, or what I can do to change. I'd be greatly appreciative if you'd be willing to educate me or suggest any books or videos that will help me on this journey of self-discovery so I can in turn share this knowledge. So, how can white racists make positive changes? Now, the message does go on here. The message goes on as to how he built his racism. And I want to read that too, because this is what's going on, whether black people want to realize it or not, believe it or not, whether white people even want to fully acknowledge it or not. This is what's really happening. It says here, my story in short. I was raised in a racist environment within multiple households. My junior high school was mostly black and Spanish, which helped me to blossom my ignorance and strengthen my racism. In college, I had empathy that black folks were not what I was raised to believe and how ridiculous I had been for believing it. Shortly after college, while drunk, I made a racist comment saying nigger, which made me feel like a real piece of shit, especially after seeing a biracial couple get up and walk away while giving me a look I will never forget. Apparently, that shit was still lingering. It was still lingering. My third epiphany was when I joined the Army. Wow. He didn't say that. I fucked that up. My third epiphany was when I joined the Army, as we were all brothers in mind. I saw what the repercussions were for someone to use the N-word, and it was not tolerated without repercussions. Now, 20 years later, being in my first biracial relationship, I discovered that I am indeed still a racist, albeit subtle or subconsciously, most likely through socialization and my core beliefs, which have still lingered. It took me a few days before I could even make eye contact with a person of color after rediscovering this, as I felt deeply ashamed. So now I'm on a mission to change the way I think and hopefully make a small impact on society. Thank you for taking time to read my lengthy email and for making a difference. One more question. Do you believe the majority of white racists are aware of their prejudices versus subconsciously unaware? With utmost respect, peace to you and yours. Now, I read that long fucking email because most white people will stay in denial. And to answer the last question you have here, do I believe that majority of white racists are aware of their prejudices? Absolutely. They are aware. There isn't anything subconscious or them being unaware. They're not unaware because they know what's going on in their head. Now, to acknowledge what's going on in their head is what's making you want to call this a subconscious thing. No, it's happening right here. They have these prejudices right here so well as you did. You had them in there. You just acknowledge them. What white folk do by and large is they will not acknowledge them. They will simply say they aren't a racist. And that'll be their bottom line. Because they don't own plantations, they'll say, I'm not a racist. And they'll base it on that. You've had sense enough to actually look at you just saying you're not racist. You actually are going through your mind and your day-to-day thoughts when you're alone in private. Ain't nobody around but you and your thoughts. You're analyzing those. Most people can't do that. Period. Be they black or white. The fact that you actually did that or actually are in the process of doing that, that says a lot about your character. That's good. I'm not going to knock you for that. I'm proud that you're able to do that. Now, one thing that you have to understand about what you're wanting to know about, how can you help? The main thing for any white ally, for any white person that wants to help, all you have to do is educate your own people. That is it. Speak on what's right within your circles. It may be uncomfortable for you, because you're going to face the backlash of these racists that you're hanging around. Because once you get out here and start trying to actually show white folk what type of minds they have and school them on their racism, that backlash you're going to receive is the reason that it isn't a subconscious thing that they're doing. They're well aware of it. And when they hear about the shit that they do, they become triggered. They become emotional. They will turn their fucking backs on you because you used a term in here where you said you called somebody a sand nigger. And you actually heard somebody else blow their horn and call somebody a fucking nigger as well. You heard that. You said sand nigger and overheard somebody else saying nigger. But there's also a nigger lover. That's also a term that white people, white racist pieces of shit, will use against their own when their own start telling the truth about racism. So you have to be ready for that. And many people are not ready for that. White people are scared to get that shame from their own people by not being racist pieces of shit like them. Most white people sit around assimilating to this racist bullshit, haven't had any experiences with black people, don't know anything about black people at all. Most of them ain't even raised around black people at all. But they'll still be racist towards black people. Don't even know black people. Most of them just doing it because it's passed down. It's passed down generation after generation. Even if they don't know what black people are, don't know anything about black people. They'll get a few images on TV. The images that this media promotes about black people. And they think they know everything. Listen to some rappers. They think they're not racist if they can tolerate us slamming a ball into a hoop and they watch us do it. I'm not racist. I watch black people sports. I root them on. My son has a LeBron James jersey. Like, not trying to make light of this shit. But you don't give a fuck if Philando Castile gets shot for no fucking reason by the cops. That doesn't bother you at all. Your son got a LeBron James jersey on, but that's where it stops. You might even got your Lil Wayne CD. That's where it stops. There is no true support and true standing against the racism of these people that you love to look at are going through. That's what's going on out here. You're going to be faced with the mentality of these people who, and if you want somewhere to start, you can start with somebody you may know or may not know. You start with Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott. Spelled the way it sounds. Do some reading up on, or watch some of her experiments. Do some reading up on her. She's the type white person that goes and schools other white folk. She don't come trying to tell black folk too much. Not saying she won't speak on some bullshit going on, but she not coming to talk to us too much. She talking to other white folk. She's doing what you're supposed to do if you're a white ally. You talk to other white people. You listen to black people. You don't make your fucking comments. You don't make your assessments. You listen to black people and school white people. That is the way to be a successful white ally. That's how you do it. You put your fucking neck out there for what's right around your own people. Because those motherfuckers are the ones who get rid of truth tellers. It's them. That's what that society is known for. If you white, you should already know this. Tell you one more thing about white folk that they like to do is hear something like this and they'll turn this into racist. That was a racist comment. Well, no. If you look at the people who put out assassinations on people because they're telling the truth, that is some white folk shit. That's what they do. Just what they do. Not saying that black people don't have a version of that, because we have been completely poisoned by being around and being dominated by white folk. You fuck around and tell the truth. Some folk will call it snitching. That's what black folk call it. They got that shit from white folk though. White folk will murder you if you're telling the truth, especially if it costs them money of any kind. Clout, power. If it's going to cost them any of that, even perception, they'll charge you your life. So what happens? You have to be ready for that when you go over here mingling with your team, trying to educate them about what's going on out here unapologetically, to call out racism unapologetically. That's what white people should be doing in their groups with their people to be an ally. You can also do some reading up on Tim Wise. Some people don't like him, some do. But either way, you know, these are a couple white folk. And the fact that I don't even have many that you can even go look towards. That's the fucked up part. People will talk about all these supposed white allies that we have standing out here, you know, all up in the mix. It's not real. There are some that make, you know, like little Facebook videos, YouTube videos, but I'm talking about you maybe 10 or 20 people. Out of millions and millions of people, millions and millions of white folk, yeah, maybe 20. And that's me just stretching. That's me doing it off YouTube. Like Jay Elliott, Tim Wise, they have more, you know, platforms. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay been doing this shit for a while. Tim Wise had platforms to go speak to school and shit like that. But I'm that's me counting the like YouTube people and stuff like that. You're not going to get a whole lot of them at all out of millions of white folk. Because they are vested in ignoring racism in every way. And if you're ignoring racism, then you're a goddamn racist. That's how I feel about white folk. That means you're a goddamn racist. That means you're okay with it. You might look over there and see a black person getting treated some type of way, and maybe you don't say, God damn, that motherfucker deserve it. Maybe you don't say that. But you gonna look over there and not say nothing. Because you know you're not getting treated like that, so you ain't got much to say. So, I hope this helped, man. I really admire your ability to put it out here. And admire your ability to listen to my videos, to listen to me talk about white people the way I do and hear it right. Many white people listen to my videos and they don't hear it right. They hear the white man a couple times, they hear white supremacy a couple times, and their minds just block out everything else. That's what most white people doing to black folk. They blocking everything out. But you were able to actually sit and listen. Sit and listen and reevaluate yourself. Look at yourself. Because if you're not fitting the profile of any of these type of shit that I'm talking about white people do, racist white motherfuckers do, then you wouldn't be offended. you wouldn't have anything to say, because you're going to reevaluate yourself and try to do better. And that's what you did. And I respect that. I respect that shit. Most definitely. I hope this helped out. Again, get into you some Jane Elliott. Get into you some Tim Wise. Continue to listen to black people tell their stories. Continue to listen to that. Continue to try to understand what's going on here. And understand when it seems so passionate, when it seems so aggressive, well, look at what the fuck. Do some research and see what type of history we're dealing with here. And you'll see why people mad. You'll understand why people mad. You'll get that. You see. But again, I hope this helped. Y'all comment if you feel the need to comment. That's all the fuck I want to say. This is another, I will be doing another Just Ask Rob video. I'm putting this on my main channel because I really want, I want everybody to see this shit. I think this is a conversation that's necessary. White people dealing with their bullshit and reevaluating themselves and actually trying to do something to change. And it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable because it's uncomfortable for black folk. So it's going to be uncomfortable for your white ass too. You're not special. You're going to deal with some bullshit coming from your own people. Okay? But you got to be strong and stand up for what's right. If you want to be a fucking ally. If you want to improve yourself. If you want to help anything that's going on out here. You school your own people. Alright? Mad love, y'all. I'm out.